You're listening to Nocturnal Frequency Radio, hosted by Steve Jenny and his satanic assistant, Alex Houdini, both of whom can't go into churches without vomiting.
It still makes me laugh. It really does. I love it.
Gives me goosebumps.
Welcome. Yeah, welcome to this train wreck of a show this season. Sorry, guys. it's been fun though. You know it's funny. What's pretty cool. I just realized I didn't really realize, but I just had to put it out there. Kristen, you helped us kick this season off, and here you are.
Yeah, back where we started.
Back where we started.
You start and end with Kristen.
Yeah,
right.
And well, we're supposed to have Richard Palmisano with us too, but unfortunately, he's having some technical issues there. But hopefully, he'll be able to join us in a bit. And Justin Valrio might pop in a bit. I would not bank on it, but hey, you never know. But anyways, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching here on YouTube, and of course listening live on the New Visions Radio Network. It's not new, but it's New Visions Radio Network. And I want to say hi to people in chat. Hey, Lucy. Hey, Barry. Some guy named Alex there. Alex.
Yeah, some
hey,
Alex. I don't know.
Crazy John, how are you? Good to see you. And I think that's it right now that I can see. But anyways, Kristen, how have you been?
Oh gosh, I've been sick. Sick. Yeah, you can hear it.
Yeah.
Did you hear me coughing in the intro?
Little bit. No, didn't hear that. You're
okay. Yeah, but yeah, you know what? My season has been nuts too, and just all over the place, and skipping weeks here and there. Like, I got to get my head straight. But it's this UAP business.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah,
there's a lot going on.
Holy cow! Yeah, so much in the news this week. I mean, it's been for the last few months, just so much. It's overwhelming.
But yeah, I just it's funny because it was kind of glanced on before on the last show, and somebody mentioned them. Like, what's going on? I was thinking about I was thinking about something else that happened in Vegas. A few weeks ago, and now all of a sudden something else pops up.
Yeah,
and this one is just absolutely insane.
Bizarre. It is so bizarre. But the footage that the police officers caught, like they weren't even gonna, pay any mind to the call, except that they caught something and they saw something fall from the sky too. And so they're like, I think the police officer that showed up, he was like, I'm curious. I'm asking out of curiosity here. Like, yeah, you want to know what's going on. It's a really bizarre story.
Yeah, Alex, did you have a chance to see it?
I saw some of the footage. I didn't see the whole thing.
It's insane. It's insane, man. But like the body cam, it's body cam, and they're like totally right into it. Totally. Like, hold on a sec. Let me just see here.
Yeah, they got the body cam footage where they went and talked to the folks, but then have you seen the video of the family as they were like walking to the backyard? Oh
yeah.
And you're up this close to the screen, you're like, I don't see it. Do I see anybody back there?
Yeah, it's just insane. Hold on, let me just see here. Hold on, let's see. Pull a little bit up here. Where are we? And there, let's just get it going here.
A big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
Because I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land in your backyard, or?
They see like a big. That's what they say. They see like a big something with light.
Can we go outside?
I see a cat over there. Do you have cameras?
One camera, but it's not the. I'm gonna take the camera.
Did you see it? No? I'm kind of curious now. I want to know if there's aliens.
I was with the iPhone. I said, let me. I want to
It was like very big,
record
like
something.
this story.
Where did they go?
Well, they say that. I'm gonna show you.
You have a dirt backyard. Can you show me if there's a?
See, I love it how they
Did you
blur
see
that
them
out.
Go anywhere?
Mm-hmm.
No, you didn't. Did they probably go that way? Hey, did you guys?
It's full on over.
Might sound like a really dumb question, but did you guys see anything fall out of the sky? Yeah. We got a call, and one of my partners actually said that they saw it too. So, if you happen to see any, like I'm not BSing you, if you see any,
footage?
no, like if you see any like little, well, not little in this case, they're claiming 8 to 9 foot tall green beings that were in their backyard. Sounds crazy, but you never know. Your neighbors, your fine neighbors over here. But again, I would normally discount it as probably not real.
Neighbors right here?
Yes. I would normally discount it as nothing. However, seeing as one of my partners said they saw it too, only reason I'm actually investigating it further. So if you guys see anything, especially in your backyard, please call 911. We'll come over, okay? It might, and we're hoping that it's maybe just some kids pranking or doing something stupid. They said they saw some fall from the sky. They checked the backyard and they saw something with like 8 to 9 feet, no clothes, green colored men, not human, with like the eyes were glowing and it was not a human being. So yeah.
He said 100% not human. That's what that kid said.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? Yeah, there's multiple people in this home. So we already checked. Huh? More than one. So if you see anything, just give us a call, okay? Hope you have a good night. Take care.
So I mean, you get the picture. You get the picture, right?
Yeah. It's so strange. He said, "Oh, it could be a kid pranking." I don't know, because there's other footage. There's other body cam footage where they were on a stop or they were talking to some people on the road, and you can see the thing that people report having seen fallen from the sky. It's blue. And it's just this streak.
Yeah, you see that. Yeah, absolutely in the background there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have Richard here. Richard,
can you hear me?
Oh,
Hey!
we have contact. We have contact.
Awesome. I had to throw my whole system out and go buy a new one.
That was pretty quick.
In the middle of nowhere. What's going on?
All these crazy things in the sky. Nothing's working right.
That's what happens when you harbor an 8-foot alien around your backyard.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he was closer to 9 feet.
Yeah.
And he was smoking a cigar.
A cigar. So have you been following that story at all?
Somewhat. I saw the original thing, and a lot of news stations I noticed said they covered it, but they didn't really cover it. They went to a whistleblower that said, "Oh, we've got alien crash UFOs."
Yeah, well,
it was kind of
part and parcel with what's going on, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But what do you think? Do you think it's a hoax? Do you think it's quite possible? What do you think?
Well, from you know what I do, so anything's possible.
No, I know what you do. Yeah, that's why I'm asking you.
So anything's possible,
yeah,
including a hoax. But I don't know. I just don't think we have enough information. I think it was. It seems to be a segue into this whistleblower guy, which makes me wonder. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, we have this incident, and like I said, most of the news stations say UFO crash in Las Vegas. You go to it. It has nothing to do with the crash UFO. It's about a whistleblower saying we've got crash UFOs.
Well, not only that, I've noticed. Let me see if I can find it. Footage. Go ahead, Kristen.
Maybe because it's old news. This happened May 1st.
Right.
Yeah, I was really surprised that they only, I only recently heard about it. Nobody was talking about it before.
Yeah.
Just that one station, right? Back when it
Mhm.
happened, and that was it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it's weird. And then you have this whistleblower come out of nowhere and say, well, we've got crash UFOs. But how is he any different than Lazar, Bob Lazar, or Corso, who says, with Colonel Corso, who said, "Oh, I work for the foreign technologies department for years in the military, and we've got crash UFOs." So how is this guy different?
It's very recent. He worked for the government up until a few weeks ago.
Right.
And his position, I can't remember exactly what position it was, but he was like the second to the first person who would have access to that kind of confidential information, like that classified information. So he was very close in proximity to that kind of information. I don't know, with him, like I don't want to immediately be like, oh my God, I believe this. I want to hear what he has to say, though. I want to hear that first.
Right.
I will listen to everything he has to say before I make a decision or judge.
That's what I mean. I mean, there's just something about this that's intriguing, but yet you want to tread cautiously. And God knows, especially when you're dealing with Stephen Greer and that sort of. I mean, you kind of want to think, okay, yeah, it's possible, but we've been burned in the past quite often. And this is sort of that kind of, I want to believe, or want to believe that this is real, that, and, but the thing is, again, the evidence, show us the evidence. I mean, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
The evidence. And that's it's
That's
missing.
behind the paywall.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and the truth is the kind of evidence that people are wanting, that they're asking for, we're not going to see that, not in this situation, because basically that stuff is classified and it's still classified. So we're not going to see what it is that we want to see. We want to see the body parts. We want to see the ships, and that's just not.
But
Not gonna
here's
happen.
the other caveat to that is that even if they were to show that kind of stuff, you'd also have a lot of people saying, "Oh, that's fake anyway. It's CGI and what have you." So
Right.
it's a losing battle no matter how you look at it. So even if the guy was legit and he had all this he was privy to that information that he's claiming he's privy to, it still doesn't matter. You still have people who are going to go out and say he's full of shit and he's making it up. He wants his 5 minutes in the spotlight just like everybody else. And that's part of the problem. No matter what, he could have all that information. It could all be legit, but it's going to get awash by all this stuff that's going to come out after the fact saying that he's just full of it.
Yeah. I think the New York Times is already like ready to put out a hit piece. I heard that today that they were going to be publishing something tomorrow that people are a little worried, like, it's going to throw them in a bad light immediately to.
Yeah.
But then we have to ask ourselves, just looking in the last couple of years, what's real, what's not real, what's propaganda, what's the misinformation? I mean, when you go to the TikTok or Go Fast, and the government, I mean, you go back a decade. If I had that information, there'd be a knock at the door. You'd never find my body. But yet, somehow, a guy, I'm going to mention Lou Alessandro, because he's the guy, right? Him and Blink 182 there, along. Somehow stole this vital top secret classified information from a nuclear carrier strike group, not once, but twice, right? The Roosevelt and then the Nimitz. He stole all this information off it, leaked it to the press. I mean, he had to have signed a stack of non-disclosure top secret documents for the position he was with the UAP, and all all the other stuff he worked on at the Pentagon, and yet nobody mentioned nothing. No boo, no, hey, it's okay, don't worry about it. Hey, we got these things flying around. There's an agenda that's being pushed by the government through people like Alexander, who is counterintelligence. And we have to try and figure out why they're trying to tell us this sort of stuff's happening. Is it really ET, or is it something that they already have? I'm not going to say breakaway technology or breakaway society, but they already have it and they're testing it. What better place to test it than fly it past a bunch of fighter planes who apparently aren't armed? They're just out doing training exercises. They're not armed, so there's no threat. No accidents can happen. And test it. You know, and these guys, these pilots, they're not read in. They don't have the classification for it.
No.
So they don't know what it is. They can't even catch up. So they're like, hey, this is really weird. I'd like to fly it. You know what I mean? So there's some kind of agenda going on that just doesn't make sense.
Well, I mean, like, if this was to happen, say, 10 years ago,
right?
And how do you think it would have been handled, say, 10 years ago, as opposed to now, considering they're supposed to be, a little bit more transparent now with this new sort of approach to things and opening up the books and this and that. But obviously, that's not a reality. But I mean, how do you think they would have said about what's happening now, say 10 years ago? Would they even bother?
Well, we wouldn't have this discussion because the Tic Tac, the Go Fast, would have never been released. It would have never came out to the public.
Yeah.
That would have been wrapped up in a vault somewhere with nobody discussing anything. And then we had all these things flying around. One was a Chinese spy balloon. But how about the other things they shot down that they can't tell you what they are? They just don't know. Well, how do you shoot something down and you don't know what it is? So it could have been some new flying car from Sweden. You just wiped out a family. And we're not going to talk about that, though.
Oh, shouldn't
we just don't know what it is. Anytime they fire a missile off one of those aircraft, they have to account for it. They have to explain where it went, what it did. And they can't tell the public. There's a lot going on that we're just not being told. We're being shown video of the Tic Tac, but we're not going to be telling you what we shot down over the Arctic.
Richard, you have a twisted mind. That poor family. That poor family from Sweden.
my mind looks like a pretzel that ate a bunch of paper clips.
But
it's all the years of dealing with the paranormal and stuff like that has made them very, very what's the word I'm looking for? Twisted, I guess, is one way to put it.
I always equate to even like something as something like what we were a case that we were presented with years ago. And I show you seen the footage, Richard, and you were baffled by it. The Bubble Boy incident.
Yeah.
I mean,
I talked to some people about that, and they were very interested because the exact same thing, and I know I saw the photographs, but the exact same thing that they showed me that happened on Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh, really?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't think Kristen, you've ever seen the photos.
No, I don't know what that means. Bubble Boy.
Now she's intrigued. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up the photos.
I know, Kristen. I know it sounds like a triple X-rated movie, but it's not.
There was a John Travolta movie called Bubble Boy back in the day.
Back in the day.
And I saw that, but I don't know what you're talking about.
Sorry, you had to go through that.
I'll give you a little scenario. Let me just load these guys up here and send them off. But we were approached by this guy who was living in a house that he had bought because it was up for sale because the previous owners, it was a seized home. And they got a really good deal on it. And this place was in the middle of nowhere. It's in the middle of nowhere. And, the guy's a hunter. And so anyhow, they moved in, and he had set up a whole bunch of trail cams in his backyard because he had this huge backyard, and right in behind, it was brushed up against the forest. Right. So he wanted to see, originally wanted to see what kind of animal were lurking in the area. So he had taken so much footage, and then finally he decided, okay, look, I need to pull these in and go through them. He was going through one of them, and there was a series of 4 photos that were taken that baffled his mind. He couldn't, he's like, I can't make any sense of this. This doesn't make any sense. So the first photo, and this is, I believe, in November. So I think it was like 9 degrees or something like that. 9 degrees Celsius, which I don't know what Fahrenheit. I couldn't tell you offhand what that is. Probably like, I think it's like 39. Is it 39? Maybe 39 Fahrenheit. I don't know, something like that. Is 39 Fahrenheit chilly?
48.
Okay, 48. So, yeah.
Well, 32 is freezing.
Yeah.
So 32 freezes water.
Connor, hey Connor, how I believe so. I believe it is on now at 9:00. I believe the interview's going on now. I don't know, unfortunately. I can't get into it, so I don't know. I was going to we were going to try to simulcast a little bit here, but can't do it. So anyways, the first photo again, there's this anomaly in the top of the photo. So you see a bright sunny day, you see the field, and then you see birds in the field. And then you see this anomaly right at the top of the photo. The next photo, there's this what looks like a guy in a bubble or some sort of protective shielding or something, I don't know, hovering above the ground. And then the next photo, it's gone. And these are within 4 seconds of each other. So it's a series of 4 seconds. Within 4 seconds, this all happens. It's just impossible.
I can't even imagine that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'll load the photos up and I'll show you. I only have the 2 left, but there was a series of 4. And like I said, the first one, you just see nothing. It's just his backyard, a beautiful sunny day, the birds in the field, and then you see the forest in the background and the sun shining down, the rays are coming through and all that kind of stuff. And the temperature also changes slightly in each one, which is kind of weird too. Within 4 seconds, it makes no sense at all. Right? So anyways, okay, hold on. I keep saying I'm going to load them up. I thought I had them on my PC, but I don't.
Come on, you're killing me.
Okay. All right. And the second one, you have the anomaly. The third one is the person or being of some sort hovering above the ground in this bubble, like this, I don't know, shield of some sort. I don't know what it is. Portal, whatever.
Maybe.
Anomaly. And then all of a sudden, the next shot, it's just the same as the first shot. It's gone. Completely disappeared.
And this is on a trail cam. He got frames from his video.
Yeah, and you know they're only activated by activity, right?
Okay.
If there's anything within the sensor, it'll set it off. Okay, hold on. Let me just pull up my email here. Bear with me, guys. But go on, Richard. Just talk a little bit about what you were thinking about it.
Well, I thought about those photos a long time. I mean, when you sent them, I mean, we're talking years ago now, right?
Yeah.
But, it's interesting that it's only 4 seconds, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to ask yourself, was it 4 seconds, or do these things bend time and space? It could have been hours,
Mm-hmm.
and it was only 4 seconds.
Only 4
according
seconds.
to the camera that took the photographs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't know what this thing's doing, right?
Nope.
Was there an abduction that took place?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let me just.
So we hear about these things. Like one of my favorite stories is at Skinwalker Ranch.
Mm.
They, they see the cow and then they turn around and they walk 6 feet and they turn around. The cow's been eviscerated. It's just a skeleton.
Okay, so here's the first photo. Or sorry, the second photo. The first photo is again just the forest and the in the background. Then you have the field here, and then you see the birds here on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Let me just and again you have this anomaly right here.
Which is if you look at the background, it's almost duplicated.
Yeah, almost.
And it's showing within that dark spot, you can see forest, which doesn't really match this forest. Well,
if it's the top of the top of the tree line.
Yeah. So there you go. There you go. And then the next photo. Okay, so as you can see, the time is 9:43. November 15th, and then 7 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The second photo.
What?
That's weird. It's like a bubble. It's like a.
See that?
Is that? Whoa. Okay. Huh.
It's like a protective coating or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a plasma shield or something.
And that is like a split second after.
Yeah.
And then the following photo.
What was the temperature on this one?
The temperature is 8
degrees.
See?
8 degrees.
Oh,
So
it goes
went
up.
Yeah.
Went
Went
up
from
degree.
7 to 8. Yeah.
The last photo, it was 9. I don't have the last photo with me.
Right.
It was 9 degrees, and again, look at the birds are just minding their own business in the background here, on the ground, like nothing's going on, right?
Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't react if it happened that fast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you don't see anything right here.
Mm-mm.
I thought this here was it, but again, when you go to the next photo, you see this too as well, right? You still see it; it's right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? So it's
Okay.
not that.
As part of that, there's a bit of a fence or something back there.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. So pretty freaky, huh?
Oh, that's so strange. Yeah. The shape of that's the silhouette of that anomaly in the first photo is interesting.
It was very interesting.
I mean, and what do you call it? Bubble boy. I don't know why. I don't know, but that's what he was calling it. But anyways, further that, and the reason why I'm bringing it up is, if you notice, that's like 2012 when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
The guy came on the show to talk about this experience, and he furthered by adding that he was at work one evening. He was working evening shift or nights. I can't remember exactly what it was. And he was saying that he got a call from his wife who was frantic, and he couldn't make out what she was saying in the beginning. And then, finally it's like, there are some strange things outside the back door.
Ooh.
Flying back and forth by the window as if they're staring at me, surveilling me. And these were green lights. She was saying there were green lights and they're moving really quick, extremely quick. You got to remember, this is long before drones. Right?
Now this was, did I confuse that? This was the wife that made the call
wife,
to the guy who has the trail cam, the same dude?
That's his wife. Yeah, his wife.
Okay, so this anomalous stuff was just happening on his property.
On his property,
Okay.
exactly. Right?
Okay.
You know? Talk about weird.
He lived in Northern Ontario, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Not too far from Huntsville, I believe, somewhere around Huntsville. And he actually was all for us coming out and running some tests and doing some research and all this stuff. And within a couple days, he calls me up and he backs out. He says he doesn't want anyone out to look into this. Just very, very abruptly. It was really weird. Right?
Huh.
Really weird.
Was he scared? Did he get scared? Did somebody make him scared?
I think it's weird because this story had not broke anywhere else. Nobody knew anything about it. And then I think it took like a couple of years. And then there was a radio station here, famous FM station, that had broke the story, or they thought they had broke the story about this. But we had, a couple years beforehand. But I guess he went forward, or somehow they got a hold of the photos, and I just don't know how. Because he was adamant, don't share the photos. And I never shared the photos until later on. And it didn't matter, right? So I didn't care. But yeah, pretty freaky.
Yeah, I was upset because you asked me to come out. I was all ready to go. I wanted to go see what was going on. I even dusted off my machine here. I have to dust it off again, but it's been a while. But yeah, I wanted to go. I wanted to see what was going on, because if you're looking at that kind of activity in a place that's really nowhere, then
makes you wonder.
His house has to be the target. Whatever's happening, he's got.
But that's the question though. Target of what? What is this? Is this what do you think? Governmental, or is this extraterrestrial? What do you think?
We have no idea. We have no idea.
But if you were to take a stab,
it's hard to take a stab because, honestly, 70 years of research and investigation on whatever this is, we have no idea. We don't know if they're ETs. We don't know if they're interdimensional. We don't know if they're time travelers. We don't know if they're us from the future, from the past. We don't know if it's a breakaway society. We don't know anything, really. We have a bunch of information, but we don't really know what it leads to. So we could take it. We could take a stab, like anybody else, anybody's guess, whatever. But what's the truth? We have no idea.
Yeah, right? I like listening to the theories about what it could be, though I'm not settled on any one thing, even extraterrestrial versus anything else. I'm not entirely settled. I think about the highly strange things that occur in a lot of these situations. Just for instance, this guy's place, right. You see the anomalous shape in the picture, you see the bubble boy in the picture, you got the story of lights zipping around the house on another night. Like, these are not, they wouldn't seem at the outset to be all one and the same phenomenon. There's all this it's just kind of congruing together, and that makes me think that it's possibly something that we're not even thinking at this point. Maybe it has more to do with consciousness, and it's just something that we're not understanding yet. We're not there yet to understand it.
Or maybe his property is like a focal point for something.
Sure.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's and when you do, you dig into a little bit of the background, it was seized because it was a garage. I mean,
Nice.
it was a garage. So I mean, for years, and they finally seized the property.
Right.
So I mean, it's not like the property wasn't under surveillance before, but I mean, so I mean, is it something that's continuous there? Like it's just
Maybe. I mean,
it has to be the most awkward or strangest case I've ever had that I can think of
Yeah,
personally.
it's pretty weird. It's a pretty weird case for sure. And it's what makes it even more weird is how he backed out of us wanting to go up there and investigate.
Yeah.
Right?
Like
Because
right
then it makes
away.
it makes you wonder. It's like, okay, well, why? Why would you do something like that? Are you making all of this up, or is it you that's creating this sort of buzz about this thing that's it's not actually happening? Like, okay, he's got the images from the blurred out top part, but that can be done. All of that can be done, right? So
well,
maybe
that's the problem we face today. Well, our
yeah.
technology's advanced so much now that what is the truth? And
Well,
if
but
you were to see evidence,
even with film, like even with actual 35 millimeter film with double exposure, if you really know what you're doing, you can actually make anything believable.
well, 35 mil it's a lot more difficult because you have
Yeah.
negatives, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm
Give me
saying
the
like if you know what
negative
you're
and
doing,
I'll
if you
tell
know
you
what you're
the real
doing,
or-
you can do
Oh,
a
sure.
double exposure, and to the layperson, they won't know any different.
Right.
When you
But
print the photo and you show it, you're like, okay, well, look, I have a spirit behind my nan, for example, or whatever, and that's my grandfather, let's say, who passed away a year ago. People will lap it up, right? They don't know any better.
well, they've been doing it for 125 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, and it's obviously a lot more difficult now with the technology now. I
Yeah.
mean,
Well,
you
now
see
they have AI.
Yep.
They have AI. They can,
Mhm.
I can bring Elvis back from the dead and make a new song, and
Or
everybody
Elvis
down
is
south
dead?
is going to say,
What?
"I told you he was alive."
Elvis
So,
is dead. He's not a dead. He's working
See,
at
there you go.
7-Eleven.
it's like some of those AI videos I seen. I think one of them was Will Smith eating something, and it was just really creepy, just
yeah.
distortedly creepy. It's just wow, how it could come up with something like this.
Well, wait
And
till
yeah,
it gets better, and
well, that's the thing. I mean, that's
people are going to go to jail because some guy did a video, and is that you? Well, it looks like me. Does it sound like you? Yeah. Okay. Go to jail. You did it wrong, and it's. I don't know where we're going with this stuff. It's scary. It's scarier.
so.
EP.
Well, okay, let me ask you. Let me ask you guys this then. Do you think that we've already been in contact with these intelligent civilizations, if you will? Do you think with all that you guys have seen and that's been presented out there, do you think the communication's been there?
I do. I,
Yeah.
I suspect that we've always been in contact with whatever it is, in touch with it. And I don't just look at the things that are coming out so recently as spectacular as this stuff is. It's just more of the same. We're just paying attention to it now. But, just take a look at any point in history and you can find these stories, anecdotal, sure, but all hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stories of these types of situations, these occurrences and interactions with something. It's hard to say what that is, but it's been there all along.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And again, with this whistleblower, this latest guy, I want to see the interview, but we'll see it eventually. But I mean, the possibility of him actually having retrieval items and not presenting them. I mean, what's that tell you?
Yeah.
What's that tell you?
He doesn't actually have any materials though,
no,
right? He's just
no.
got the docs.
He's just got the doc. I think it's from somebody else who had been telling him, or somebody else was telling him an experience that they had, that there was actual, material, and it was documented. Yeah, he has the documentation, but I mean, can anyone really do that though? Seriously? I mean, is it only because this guy is an ex-Marine or military or whatever that they're going to take his word or his documentation as truth?
Well, I look at it this way, and I'm starting to lean at one direction, and it's you've got this guy coming forward now, right? You've got the To the Stars Academy, and you got these intelligence whistleblowers, and you've got the release of these certain videos, and it seems to be the same thing of one agenda, right? And everybody, even the documentaries coming out on TV, you have two camps, right? One that's, oh look, we're going to investigate this, and they give you a sort of honest opinion. But you've got the majority now saying, oh, these are a threat. This is a national security threat. They're going to get it. Right? And that's the agenda that's being pushed. And when you step back and see who's pushing that agenda, and let's face it, the United States of America has to rely on its military for its economy. That's the only thing that makes the wheels go round and round in the U.S. If it wasn't for the military and the trillions of dollars they spend on their military, their economy would be worse than ours.
Yeah.
Right? It'd be reversed. Instead of us getting 74 cents on a dollar, they'd be getting 59 cents on a dollar, because they always need an enemy, right?
Yeah.
First it was we had to go to Korea, then we had to go to Vietnam, and then we have to go to Iraq, and then we got to go to Afghanistan. But that wasn't good enough. So then we started a war on terrorism, and that didn't go well. And then, so now we've got the new armed forces,
Space Force,
the Space Force, right? So you can see where the agenda is pushing.
Yeah.
Well, no, there's an external threat, right? Like Ronald Reagan said, God damn it, there's an external threat, and we got to be ready. And that's what they're doing. So now they're planning another $1 trillion to fight an imaginary enemy in outer space to keep the wheels greased and rolling, right, for the economy.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're going. Yeah, I don't care who likes it or not. I'm going to say it. If they have to blow Connecticut off the map and say, well, the aliens did it, as a false flag, they're going to do it, right? It's worth a lot of money to a lot of people. And, well, that was just collateral damage. So
we're probably going to get a few emails about Richard's hate mongering of Connecticut.
First it's a Swedish family, now it's Connecticut.
Yeah, I know. That's Connecticut. What the hell has Connecticut ever done to you, Richard?
It's a dangerous world out there.
Yeah, really good points, Richard. And it's like with something like this, so big like this, and we don't clearly see, if you can't clearly see the answer or clearly see the directive here, the motive, ask who does it benefit most.
Right.
For people to believe this.
Exactly. I mean, you've got guys like Ben Rich who ran Skunk Works saying, well, we have the technology to take ET home. Pardon? What's that mean? This guy ran a top secret development for the U.S. Air Force and space agencies. And he's saying we have the technology to take ET home. That's a huge statement from a guy like that. So what kind of technology do they have that we've never heard about?
And where is home?
Oh, that's right. Where is home?
Where is home? Where are they coming from?
Uranus.
Connecticut.
Connecticut. Yes, that's it.
Wait a sec. IKEA.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's a totally different program.
Well, that's no. IKEA got taken care of when that Swedish family in the flying car got removed.
Yeah.
Dang.
No, you got to watch out what you're shooting down.
No more meatballs for you, Richard.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is a tough room.
Yeah.
I like meatballs.
But okay, so tomorrow there's a huge disclosure press conference in Washington, led by Stephen Greer, Dr. Stephen Greer. I don't know. Are you guys familiar with Stephen Greer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. What do you know about Stephen Greer, Richard?
Well, I think he knows a lot. He's got a lot of information.
Yeah.
I think he's a connected kind of person.
Well, it seems like yeah.
The only thing I don't like about the guy is he's all about it's like E.T. Oh yeah, kumbaya. Come over here and give me a hug. No, I don't think that's the way it works. And he's got this thing where he brings people out into fields and stuff, and they try to contact the UFOs, and everybody hugs and everybody. That's unnerving to me, because first of all, I was in contact with some girl on some chat, and she said, "Oh yeah, you should come out. What do they call it? CE5, right? And come out. You should come out and do this stuff." And I said, "No, because I don't know what you're in contact with. Nobody knows what you're in contact with, so it doesn't make sense to me." Oh yeah, CE5 thing using psychic energy, right? But we don't know what an alien is. Is it friend? Is it foe? Is it something completely different that we're not even thinking about?
Well,
And
according to, sorry.
Well, yeah, according to Greer, it's all.
Yeah, it's
you
it's
know,
all love
rainbows.
and rainbows and bunnies and yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
No, it never works
Yeah.
out that way.
I have. Mhm.
No, go ahead, Chris.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I have not heard a lot of great things about Stephen Greer, which
Neither have I.
sucks because I actually really enjoyed his documentaries. I was like, oh, this is really neat. A lot of information I hadn't heard, but yeah, I've not heard some great things about him. And the thought that I had was this I don't know how long ago he wanted to do this press conference, but the fact that it feels like he kind of jumped on the opportunity to okay, get my name out there. I'm a voice in this too. I'm a face in this too.
Mhm.
Like a couple days ago, he got shot down on Twitter for like doing this big public tweet about, oh yeah, I trained Dave Grusch, and like I'm a part of this too. And it's like, really? Like it's just weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very. I don't. That's what I mean. That you have all these guys with a lot of money,
Mhm.
a lot of power, doing their own little agendas. What is the truth?
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know what the truth is, right? It's a little piece of this, a little piece of that. But
Has and again, it gives you the thought that or whatever, that for all these years, this whole alien sort of aspect, the extraterrestrial aspect, is just a smokescreen on what say the government is up to, or what they don't want you to know that they're up to, sort of thing. And we all want to believe that there is life out there besides us. I mean, it's kind of hard not to want to believe that. I mean, with so many possibilities out there and the vastness of the universe. But what was really weird is I was watching this this video, just a short video, and it was a collage. It was like an art piece of a guy who was basically showing you the extent of the universe as we know it through what we've been able to see physically through the telescopes and whatnot. And it's really weird, gauged by their distances and their proximity, where they are in the sky and all this kind of stuff. it's really weird because when you look at the paused piece, it looks like an eyeball.
Mhm.
With our universe being in the center.
Yeah.
Sorry, our galaxy being in the center, our sun being in the center, and that's just really weird.
Yeah.
But, to think.
I think there's stuff out there, and I think there's I believe in the multiverse, and I think there's billions of them everywhere, like an arrow bar, right? You got an arrow bar, and you see all the little bubbles, and I think that's what it is, and I think that explains all paranormal aspects because it's when those two little bubbles connect, right? That's when you have your UFO or your ghostly experience or your near-death experience or whatever it is. It explains so much. The Mandela effect explains the Mandela effect, right? Something switches over, and all of a sudden, what we remember never happened.
Yeah.
But it happened in that universe now. So, it sort of stole information or switched information somehow. So, it's very possible, right? I also believe in the theory of the block universe. And what the block universe theory is everything that happens from the beginning of time to the end of time has already happened. It's all in there. All at once, right?
Okay.
Einstein sort of talked about this when his friend died, Basso died, and he sent a letter off to his wife saying that time is just a how do you put it, a stubborn phenomena or something like that, that we can't perceive it as all occurring at once. So we think we're here and now, but a guy 40 years ago thinks he's here and now, and he is. In his time, it's here and now. But see, I can't even, because we're taught from grade 4 to now that how time is linear, but it's not, right? It's not. So we can't even wrap our heads around how that would work.
Yeah, that's it. To sit there and think that you'd ever be able to understand the scope of the universe is just like it would drive you insane. It would literally drive you insane with so much that's out there that we've discovered now, but I mean, is it still an unfolding process? I mean, is it ever growing? I mean, there's all sorts of theories that we hear that, oh no, it's imploding, no, it's continuously growing. There's all sorts of different variations. It's like, which one do you believe? I mean,
well, I think it's like your computer system. You log in, you look at your screen, and you've got stuff on your desktop, and you go into the app, and you go and do Facebook or whatever. But there's all kinds of things running in the background. You're not even aware of it, right? They're just, somebody's doing a scan or you're doing this or whatever. But I think that life is the same way. And this is why we're limited.
Yeah.
I think we're not supposed to see all these things. And I think we're limited to, the eye sees a certain frequency. The hearing hears a certain frequency. I don't think we're supposed to see beyond those things because I don't know who said it, but I heard it years ago, and I believe it. If you were to see everything all at once that was out there, you would instantaneously be insane. You couldn't handle it.
I believe it. Yeah.
We're going to take a short break for station identification on New Visions Radio Network. We'll be right back with more on this with Kristen and Richard Palmisano. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to New Visions. You're listening to Nocturnal Frequency Radio on New Visions Radio Network. And of course, simulcasting here on YouTube and Twitch. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, folks. And now I thought I had this loaded up, and I didn't. Welcome back to Nocturnal Frequency Radio, live on the New Visions Radio Network, and of course, simulcasting on YouTube and Twitch. I was trying to find that. I actually think I did find it, and I think let me just see. It's just fascinating, but I couldn't find a good representation of it. But let me see if I can pull it up here and show you guys. Okay, let's see. All right. Okay. I have it. It's rather intriguing, except for the guy at the top. Hold on. Okay, where are we? So basically, this is, here we go.
Fucking up because I don't know how to shit got me late.
Could do without the music. Plus, we don't want to get a hit. But it zooms out for the DNA, basically, to show you the depth of the universe.
Yeah, size is relative.
Yeah.
I know that's just not my pickup line for women.
Okay.
Nice. Why don't you click on the third video there?
Also
Yeah.
recommended for user.
Yeah.
Interesting girl.
But yeah, pretty interesting how somebody's able to sort of try to give you a scope of how big the universe is, and
The Simpsons did something like that.
they did. I think what happened to the
It
Simpsons?
kept zooming out until eventually it got to one of Homer's hairs.
Oh, no,
Hey, maybe it's like the end of Men in Black when this whole thing is just in a marble and we're being thrown around by an alien playing jacks.
Yep. Well, we don't know. I mean, Star Trek did a episode on it, right? Where
Yep.
And who else? Well, Morton heard of who, right? There's an entire civilization living on this little snowflake. They think they're out in the universe somewhere, but they're not.
Imagine that. Living.
It's all point of view. It's all perception.
Perception, exactly. And I mean, when again, when we want to get down to that sort of thing, what we see is what the perception is. The brain is responsible for what we see.
Well, we all live in our own little reality,
Yeah.
right? And it's just because we agree on something doesn't mean we're in the same reality.
So imagine if those filters were taken away, what would we experience?
Insanity.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'd be locked up quicker than you can shake a fist.
Yeah, I mean, you can imagine everything all at once. I mean, all the different spirits, all the entities, all at once. Right?
So those
somebody else sitting in this chair.
So those filters were put in place for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I work with frequency. A lot of my experiments are with frequency because that's where the answers are. Everything is
Absolutely,
frequency.
yeah.
Everything is in motion, and everything has its own frequency.
Mhm.
And that's why I work so much within that, because that's where the answers are. I conducted an experiment. I mean, we're going back 25 years, maybe around 25 years ago.
Mhm.
In my first book, Overshadows, I talked briefly about it, but I built a contraption, I was lucky enough to know a guy who worked in an electronics lab for the government.
He's showing his age by saying contraption.
Well, yeah,
Showing his age by saying 25 years ago I was doing this test.
I thought that was hand in hand, right? So, I come up with these crazy ideas, and I had a couple geniuses working in this government electronics lab.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to them and I said, "Okay, how do I do this?" And they figured it out. It's like Wile E. Coyote stuff. And they said, "Okay, you need to get some speakers, and you need to get a frequency generator and a couple other components, and you have to put it all together." And then they give me the math. All right, you need this. This is the math on it. All right, so I did. I got it all together. I borrowed some of the equipment from the lab, and I went to the house that was on it, that I knew was on it. I did the math. I set the speakers. I set up all the equipment. I turned the frequency generator on to a specific frequency that I was experimenting with.
Mm-hmm.
And I had my team at the time consisted of my brother and a medium. But I wanted an impartial observer.
Yeah.
And that was Scott McClellan, right? Diablo.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and he has experience with this sort of stuff because he runs a paranormal show,
mm-hmm.
right? And he knows how to fake it. He knows how to do all this stuff. And I said, "This is the guy I need." So I invited him.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Would you like to come?" And he said, "Yeah." So I brought him in, and I set all the equipment out. I turned it on, and it was running. And you can hear the frequency coming out, and boom, 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 boom. And things got really weird. All of a sudden, we started hearing the whispers. The atmosphere, it was almost like we were in a fire or something, because not for heat, but like soot in the air.
Okay.
It's just all of a sudden this black soot was all in the air.
Hmm.
You could hear the whispers and creaks and moans, and all of a sudden somebody or something started coming down the stairs. Heavy, like boom, 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 coming down the stairs. We couldn't see on the stairs because it faced the opposite direction, but it was coming nonetheless. The first guy out of the house was Scott. I mean, he just whipped that back door open and he was gone across the parking area. He was running. The medium was directly behind him, and my brother. And I only
your brother. Your brother
all took off.
I was very, very close to him, but I said I need to shut this off first. So I did. I shut the machine off, and then I went out. And 25 years ago, I was a pretty good runner, and I caught Scott, and I said, "What are you doing?" He says, "That's crazy. I'm not going back there." And I mean, he was legitimately scared. And
he doesn't seem like a guy that gets frazzled pretty easily.
No, he's not. But he was. He was. I mean, we all were, because the stuff that was going on was almost, and that was the theory that I had, is I was going to use this particular frequency to merge our reality with another reality.
Okay.
And it seemed that it was working.
So you still have that contraption?
Yeah. So what?
I sure do.
What?
And I remember distinctly having this discussion with you many years ago that you said you wanted to try it again, and I volunteered.
I did try it again.
And but I volunteered, and I haven't heard anything about it.
So what happened the second time?
Well, yeah. So the second time, now the frequency generator, I have it now. It was donated to me from the company. But at the time, I had to sign it out at the lab.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to go through protocols because it's government, and I have to get permission. So I picked the location.
Yeah.
Got all the equipment together except this frequency generator.
Mm-hmm.
So I went in, I saw the lab tech, and I said, here's my permission to borrow this for the weekend. So as a protocol, he's got to plug it in. He's got to test to make sure it works.
Yeah.
Make sure it works. That way, if I bring it back and it doesn't work, he knows it was me. So he plugged it in, and he reached for the on switch. And as he was reaching for the on switch, they have a radio in the lab and it plays Q107 all the time, a popular radio station in Toronto. And as soon as he went to the on switch, the radio started AC/DC, Highway to Hell. And he turned it on, he tested it, it worked and everything. And I thought, well, that's weird, right? And he looked at me, I looked at him and went, oh, okay, that's weird. So I took it off for the weekend and set it up in this other haunted location I had, Mississauga. And got to the point where we were going to do it. I turned it on, and I couldn't get the frequency because the LED readout would not come on.
Oh, wow.
We just tested it. It was like, no, you're not seeing it. So I couldn't get the frequency. So it was worthless. So Monday morning, I took the machine back, and he said, how'd it go? I said, it didn't go at all. It doesn't work. He said, we tested it. I said, no, it doesn't work. The LED wouldn't come on. So he plugged it in. He's reaching for the on switch. It was a popular week, I guess, for AC/DC. Because as soon as he turned it on, Hell's Bells came on the radio. And he looked at me and he started laughing. And I said, you know what? This is stupid. I don't know what's happening here. But it worked perfectly. He said he just turned it on and he goes, what are you talking about? It works perfectly.
Was this
So
at
that
the
was
Fusion
the second
House?
test. What's that?
Was that at the Fusion House?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just wouldn't work for me. The second time it was just not working.
So
I haven't tried it again. I mean, I have it here. I'm ready to go, but I got to find a suitable location.
I'll do it.
A suitable location.
I've got a great location for it.
Yeah, we just got to figure out the math.
What are you talking about? The Pioneer Cemetery?
No.
No.
Well, it can't be outside. It's got to be controlled.
Oh, it's got
control.
Yeah.
Right. Too much outside noise is no good. So you want to
be
control it, and you have to build a. And the reason you need the speakers is you have to build a standing wave. Right. So you got to do the math to make sure that standing wave is correct. Right, between the nodes and stuff. So yeah. So
makes me think of like Stranger Things. Are you guys familiar with that show?
Yeah.
Where they with that area where like the stuff is flying through the air, like the sooty stuff, and it's obviously like this alternate realm, but like just this mixing of two realms here. Were you surprised when you got those kinds of results back the first time?
I ran out of the house. I was surprised. Yeah, if I'm running, I'm surprised.
Yeah,
I don't run.
Fair enough.
It's
okay. Well, explain what happened. Like, explain it. Can you explain it? Why you guys ran out?
There was an overwhelming feeling.
Was it that big? Like, was the kicker the big stomping on the whatever was coming down the stairs?
There was. You can tell the how you tell, I don't know, but I could tell, and I think everybody with me could tell there was intent behind that sound of coming down the stairs, like almost like you were a child and you weren't supposed to be doing what you're doing, and now Papa's coming and you're going to pay for it. So I ran out.
and that house is intriguing to say the least. I mean, that's the house where I first, that's the house I first met you and your brother Paul.
Yeah.
Thanks to Scott, right? Because he was having his annual Christmas party there, and
right.
He had introduced me to Richard and Paul, and right off the bat, when I went to that house, you could feel the heaviness in that house. There is a certain level of heaviness in that house that it's not quite describable, but it is palpable. Like you can sense it, and you know, I'm not like you, Steve. I'm not psychic at all. I'm
not psychic. Oh, God, I'm the furthest from being
right.
psychic.
Exactly. But even I could sense it, and that's my point.
Oh, okay.
Right. The fact that I could sense something that normally I wouldn't goes to show that there was something really, really I'm not going to say dark necessarily, but
It was dark. It was very dark.
Right. It is dark. I mean, if anybody's read Richard's first book, Overshadows, you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was a presence there for sure.
Well, there was a lot of stuff I couldn't put in that book. Unfortunately, at the time, I just couldn't do it. Right, there was things I had to leave out. But years later, I met a group. They had a medium. They professed, oh, she's really good medium and stuff. And I said, okay, well, no, let's do a bit of a test for her.
Mm-hmm.
And we were down in that area. I said, let's just drive down the street here and we'll stop. And she's like, well, okay, whatever. So we stopped and got out of the car and I said, what do you think about this house? And we were just basically outside the house.
Hmm.
She turned around, she looked at the house. She put her hand to her face. She stepped a couple steps backwards. She turned around, crossed the road across the street on the lawn there and threw up. And I said, what happened? And she goes, I don't want to be here. This is not good at all. This is something's really, really wrong with this. And she said, a few of the things that she saw, right? Dead babies and all kinds of crap that was going on in the house, and which was true. So she was very good at what she did, and so we got in the car and got out of there because she just couldn't handle it. So, and that was just a brief exterior meeting of this place. I couldn't imagine if she had to do a walkthrough. I don't think she'd make it.
Alex, I wonder what Pam would pick up.
I'm sure she'd pick up quite a bit. The problem is that now we don't really have access to that house anymore.
Well, you can go up to the house still, right?
You can go up to the house.
You
It's
go
not
up to the
inside.
house, and it's just not inside.
Scott hasn't lived there in years,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's a shame. That was a beautiful house.
But Edward, he's the perpetrator, and he controls it with an iron fist. He's not good. He's not a good guy.
You're gonna have to get his book, Amanda. You're gonna have to buy his book.
I will. Absolutely. This is fascinating.
Well, I'm gonna see if I can find a copy of your book, Richard. I know I have it here somewhere. I just gotta look for it.
Which one? I've got a few here.
Well, I got all of them. The last one I have on ebook, but
I've got all of them here, right here. Look.
Okay, you got them. All right.
I think so. Hold on.
How many books do you have, Richard?
Next year I'll have 6.
Wow.
5 right now. I just signed a contract with Lou Ellen, and so we should be
They put
coming
out
out
some
with
good stuff.
we should be coming out with a new book next. I think
Are you working with Peter on your next book?
Yeah, Peter and I. Yeah, we had nothing to do, and I said, "Pete, you want to write a book?" He said, "Yeah, okay." So we, we collaborated, and
I'm kind of bored. Let's do a book.
Well, yeah, I mean, in between other books, so
yeah.
I've got them all. I've got them all downstairs. The only one I have right here is this one. This one's an amazing book too.
That's the one, Overshadows. So the one that Rich is holding up, Kristen, Overshadows. That's his first. That's Richard's first book.
Start with that one.
Yeah. That's the first book. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's the one basically we were talking about. But there was a lot of stuff that I couldn't discuss. My brother still lives down that area, and he keeps track. And even though that book was written almost 20 years ago, it's still happening on the property.
So he still lives close to that house?
What's that?
Paul still lives close to that house?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's not far away. He knows people there, so he checks in every once in a while. So how's it going? And it's just as warped today as it was then. It's the horrific stuff is still occurring, and the thing that bothers me the most is there was one of the young girls that died on the property. I shouldn't have, but I made a promise to help her and get her out of there. But I just couldn't. I couldn't because the owners turned on us like rabid dogs. You know, it just went sideways. And she's still buried in the floor of the mansion. She's still there, and you know, she just wants a proper Catholic, because she was Catholic. She wants a proper burial.
Mhm.
I just can't. How am I going to dig her out of the floor? We almost did it. Almost did it. We started on the floor, and the owners got nervous, and they said, "Okay, that's enough. Get it." And they hired contractors to pour concrete down there. And it took them 3 tries, because every time they poured it, it would bubble and crack, and she wanted out. And you know, that's the one thing I feel terrible about is, you know, I made that promise, and I just couldn't keep it.
You know, talking of weirdness, like I'm intrigued with that generator, the frequency generator. What's it run on? Don't tell me germanium crystals are inside.
No, you plug it into
That's
the
not
grid.
lithium.
Yeah, yeah. It's just a frequency generator. I mean, you can probably get an app for it on your phone if you wanted to, but it's a little more trustworthy than a phone app. But
Yeah. I had a weird incident happen here a little while ago. Very, very strange. No, hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up here. And tell me what you guys think of this. This is just
It's the anomaly you caught.
yeah. Did you see it?
I did, yeah.
What'd you think of it?
I think it's weird. Yeah.
I think it was just Steve, I think it was just Steve farting.
Well, if it was, I wouldn't let anyone know. But we'll let Richard see it. I'll play it for you, Richard.
all right, let me see this anomaly. I love
it.
it.
Was really.
I live for these things.
You live for anomalies. That's why I want to. That's why I'm going to show you.
It's right on my business card.
He's anomalous.
You live for anomalies?
I do.
On the business card?
Yeah.
I have it on YouTube, so I'll just play it for you.
Yeah, it was weird after I watched that episode, and I was so intrigued. Like, I was like this at the computer, like, okay, you know, watching it go. And then like a week later, I had something in my studio, but it was just dust. I'm certain of it. Like, it wasn't like that.
I originally thought it was dust,
Mhm.
but I don't know. Let's see what. And again, pay no attention to the music, but I won't. Okay, here we go. Let me play it.
Bring this down into an audible sort of frequency. And a friend of mine had, wow, that was cool. Did you see that?
Your face.
I know.
Hmm. Yeah. I wouldn't have caught it at first either. Like, it's crazy that you caught it in the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see it, what was weird is because I was looking at the monitor on
Mhm.
here, and I quickly saw something. What? And then I had somebody sort of dive a little bit more into it, and it 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 starts off right here,
Mhm.
and then it goes in behind, and then over, and then down. And I'm like, okay, so I'm thinking of air current, because automatically I'm thinking dust. And then I'm thinking, okay, if it's dust, then why is it going towards the air vent? There's no air on, right?
Right.
If air was blowing it, it would have been going the other way,
Mhm.
correct?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I don't know. What do you think, Richard? I mean, you're in all your years of
That's a tough one. It's with the noisy background on that poster,
Mm,
right? Um, it's hard to say for sure.
yeah,
It could be anything from some kind of energy field to an acrobatic spider,
yeah,
right? It's bringing a web over somewhere
hmm,
because these things will drop a line and traverse an entire
yeah,
backyard and
hmm,
pull that line taut, right? So it's without further. Okay, so I'll come over to your house. We'll figure it
yeah. I've had a lot. I've had no. Hey, it's not out of the question because, like I said, I've had a lot of weird shit happen here.
Yeah.
Like I've had, no word of a lie. I've had a lot of weird stuff. Kristen, like I mean, I was away on vacation. I came home. We just pulled up, unpacked the car, came in the front door, and like 2 seconds later, my neighbor was at the door ringing the doorbell,
Mhm.
and I opened the door and I'm like, hey, and they're, well, are you just getting home? Yeah, we're just getting in the door. Uh, were you away? Yeah, we were away all week. We haven't been here all week. Why? What's up? Well, my husband had to come over here last night, and he was banging on your door and ringing your doorbell. I go, why? It sounded like there was a party going on here.
out.
And party? What do you mean? The music was blaring. I'm like, are you sure it was coming from here? She's like, yes. You could hear it right
Mhm.
through the firewall. You could hear it.
Oh.
You
That's
know,
that's
and
that's what I call it the floating party,
yeah,
and and I'll tell you why. Um, my mom called me
hmm,
one time. This is when she was alive, and the old homestead, and she called me and she said, "You're not going to believe what happened." I said, "What happened?" And she goes, "I was upstairs watching TV. There's no one home, just her, and she heard some noise." And she went to the basement stairs and listened, and it sounded like an entire party going on. She could hear the glasses banging together, people laughing, and music.
Mhm.
And I mean, it really disturbed her. And she went downstairs, there was nothing there. But that's just one incident. And then when I did the investigation at the Canadian National Exhibition,
hmm,
it's the first thing that the curator told me was she was working her office one night and she heard an entire party going on in the hallway. People laughing and singing and dancing and music and all kinds of. And she went out, and as soon as she stuck her head at the door, it stopped and there was nothing there. I call it the floating party. So it just travels around.
yeah. Like
And
there was no lights on. I always, if I'm away for more than a couple days, I'll usually unplug everything just in case of power surges or whatever.
Mhm.
And yeah, there was literally nothing plugged in. I mean, my stereo, my sound bars, whatever that would have produced any sound, just it just wasn't capable
yeah, it's just a phenomena we can't explain, man.
of. Are you okay? So, are you familiar with those little Pelican light LED lights that you can pass them on like a lapel or a t-shirt collar, and basically you have to pry them open before they go on. They got two little lights at the
Yeah, no.
top, and basically they're spring loaded, so
Okay.
you literally got to pry them open for them to turn on. I had one. I don't know where it's gone to, but it wasn't working for years. I needed to get a new battery for it, but it wasn't working for years. And then I came home one night, and I'm coming up the stairs, and I see this light in the studio here. I'm like, "Where's that coming from?" Came in here, and I noticed that on the desk here, it was sitting here propped open, and the lights were on. I just couldn't make heads or tails of it. I'm like, I don't I don't recall, having this out. I asked my wife, no, I don't know anything about this. Um, I closed it back up, opened it back up, the lights wouldn't come on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. I love phenomena. It's
Yeah.
you can't explain it. I mean, this lady, she told me she had a chain with a cross on it, and every night she would take it off and put it on her nightstand, and in the morning she put it back on.
Mhm.
And one morning she woke up and it wasn't there. She couldn't find it. So she asked her husband. They searched the whole house. They couldn't find this thing. So almost a year went by. She figured it was lost forever. Couldn't find it, nothing. So they were doing a renovation in the bathroom, and they were total gut job and redoing the bathroom completely and plaster and lath. And they're ripping the old walls down. They're going to do proper insulation and everything. And they ripped the plaster and lath down. And inside the wall was a little nail, and the chain and the cross was hanging on it.
Mhm.
Inside the wall. And she's like,
Whoa. How do you you can't explain something like that.
No.
That's that highly strange stuff we just cannot understand.
I mean, things happen like that. It's just, and I love it. I just love
Yeah.
it. When we were doing the CNE, we were in an old military burial ground, just off of Strawn there. And,
Strong, yeah.
Yeah, and so we were down in the shallows, and they had the graves and everything. And the medium looked at me and he said, "They're not happy here." And I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "Well, this was a field, a battlefield, in 1813 when the U.S. attacked Canada, and they took Fort York. They took York, and a lot of people died here.
Mm.
So it was already a graveyard. It was it was already a burial ground. I mean, where you fell was where you were buried.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they put in the new fort, which is Stanley Barracks, they decided to have a burial ground here. So all those soldiers from later on, right, the 1850s, 1860s, were buried there, and they had headstones. And he said that the original people that died here are not happy because there's no marker that says they died here, right? There's only a marker about these people. And he said they're very upset. And all of a sudden, there was, just hear this. And my brother went, "What the hell is that?" Right? He said, "Something hit me in the back." So it was getting kind of dusk. So we're looking around. We had the flashlights and looking around, and the curator was there from the from the CNE, and there was a coin. Hit him in the back, and it was a large coin. And we looked at it, and it was interesting because on the one side there was Lady Justice with the blindfold holding the scales of justice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was from 1812
Hmm.
from war. And I mean, how clear can the message be?
Yeah.
Where's the justice? It's blind, right? And I think I still have it somewhere. I kept it somewhere, but it's fascinating when you see this stuff. Yeah, I don't know where it is right now, but yeah, I mean, how do you explain this stuff?
I've got an old army like a chess.
Oh, your army box.
Yeah, the army box.
Ammo box.
Yeah, the ammo box, and I've got some Blu-rays and movies in it. And one day I came up here, the box was open, and the movies were sitting nice and neatly piled on my desk. And okay, again, I'm asking my wife, did you do this? She's like, no, I have no idea why. I'm like,
Yo,
okay.
Steve, your house is haunted.
Oh yeah, they got some.
My dude.
They got some. That's the light and fluffy stuff, Kristen.
I think it's just his work playing tricks on him.
There's a
His
lot
sister.
there's a lot of crap that's happened here. It's just insane.
Dave, I
Some
think
dark stuff.
Lenore's pulling your leg.
Don't investigate.
I think Lenore's pulling your leg, just doing it.
Trust me. She would be a little bit more freaked out than I would with this shit, so she wouldn't do that. She wouldn't.
Don't investigate your own house.
No, I know.
Heard that. Yeah.
Don't do that.
I've done it though, which I did it before I realized.
I have to.
And how did that work out?
For me, nothing happened afterwards.
Nothing.
Yeah, because I wasn't focused on it. I think there takes a certain amount of you focusing on this stuff too for it to be reflected back to you. Do you guys find that? No,
Yeah,
it just happens to you. You're just
bit,
a lucky bunch.
No.
Nothing happened. Yeah.
Well,
Nothing happens to me ever. So,
Well, see, Richard, conducted a series of experiments with Alex and tried to break that ghost deterrent.
He tried. He did experience. You know what? He did experience. He had an experience.
He did. He did.
We were at Stanley Barracks. You're standing there, and the fire extinguisher started to sway, which is nice. You know, what a 20-pound fire extinguisher starts to sway on the wall by itself.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a bit of energy.
He did a couple times too. He did at the Spruce Lane, and he did at the Tremaine House.
So they're starting to crack. There's starting to cracks in the.
There's going to be some. Yeah, there's some cracks showing.
Yeah.
You had to go to make it to Washington and go to St. Ignatius in Colfax. We just did an investigation there a couple of weeks ago, and I was not expecting all of the things that took place. I really wasn't, because I'm generally like that. Like, yeah, I want to see it, but not a ton happens. Like when I'm, like, yeah, I'm looking for it. There was a lot. Yeah, they're not joking. It's active.
Well, I remember going down to Waverly Hills Sanitarium in Louisville, Kentucky, and I won't lie, I was kind of excited, but I was focused and said, look, don't listen to all the stories. Let's just do our thing and investigate like we normally would investigate anything else. And I at the end of the night, I was disappointed. I'm like, nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened. We and then we got back. We started, going through all the audio and all the video. We had I think 9 cameras in total going. 9
Wow.
cameras in totals. We went for about 5-6 hours. So we had to, took a while, but then there it was, the diamond in the rough. The diamond in the rough. Something did happen. The ball moved.
I remember that.
Holy crap. And then, when you start gauging all the other stuff that we were collecting, then the audio matches up. Wow. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. But I mean, initially it's like, it's just an old, it's not abandoned anymore, but I mean, It's just an old place that has quite the history, a scary place at night, and that's it. Thanks, Bearded, for grabbing some stickers. Thanks for the support, man. Is that it? That's not a sticker though.
Not.
It's a cool sweatshirt, though. I like.
Yeah.
But I think every place has spirit. Everywhere you go, doesn't matter where it is, your house, at work, wherever you go. But the difference is, are they active? Is there a reason for them to be active? Most of them are so content with their own thing that you never perceive them, because they're just doing their own thing. You never know they're there. It's when something causes a conflict, or there's a problem, there's a story to be told, or a mystery to be hidden, or something that happens, is when we get called, right? Something's changed. And you hear that quite often. Well, I've been here for 10 years, and it's been great. And all of a sudden, something's changed. Now it's active, and now it's scared the crap out of my family here. Something's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, or like Frank was saying, you dig up things, you excavate, you do make any changes. Yeah, stuff happens. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wonderful field if you stick to it, if you're honest, you're enthusiastic, and if you're, thorough.
Yeah.
You really want to make sure. Let's be honest. Explain the explainable first, and then dive into the stuff you can explain. But make sure you try your best to explain, because Richard will tell you, a lot of this is easily explained.
Yeah.
Easily. But it science doesn't explain everything, at least not yet.
No.
So
yeah, and even if most of it is explainable, 90% of it can be explained. That just makes the remainder so much more special.
Absolutely.
And then there's stuff that you just can't explain.
Yeah.
You can't even theorize. You see something and go, I can't even give you a theory on it, because there's nothing there to explain it. There's nothing close to explaining it. And I'll give you a great example. I think we did. We were invited by the government to go down and look at the Guild of All Arts, right? The old the Guild in Scarborough.
Yeah.
And that's an awesome place.
Yeah. So the local government asked us, will you come in and look at it? I said, yeah, absolutely. So I got the team together, and they said, you're going to be embedded for the night. You're going to be embedded with 2 Toronto Star journalists, a writer and a photographer. Mm-hmm. And I said, wonderful. So we went in there, we put our cameras in, we put all our equipment in. And on the second floor, we had a camera shooting the long hallway. Mm-hmm. And so after it was all done, we tore it all down and we took it on. A lot of stuff went on, and even the journalist, he said, "Oh, I don't believe in any of this crap." And in the morning, he was the first guy out of the building. He was terrified. But so my brother has to analyze all this stuff, because that's what he does. He's the analyst. So he goes home and he's watching all this stuff and listening to everything. He calls me, he says, "You got to come over right away." So I went over and I said, "What do you got?" And he said, "Well, here's the camera in the long hallway." I said, "Okay, put it on," right? So he put it on. So this orb comes over top of the camera. It's about this big, about maybe a basketball size. So not a little orb, not a little dust bunny. It's this big. Comes over the top of the camera, dips down, and right to the end of the hallway, hits the floor like jello. It wobbles, and it's got every color of the rainbow in it. And it moves off into a room at the end of the hallway, out of view. And I'm dumbfounded. I'm looking at this. Isn't that an amazing capture? I said, yeah, but I can't. I don't know what to say. So we rewound it, look at it again, and then rewound it, and it was gone.
Whoa.
And I said, how could you lose it? So we watched the whole tape again, and it was gone. Well, that was a big mystery. But the really, really big mystery was it had every color of the rainbow in it. It was a black and white camera.
Wow.
Whoa.
How can I even theorize?
Hmm.
When you tell somebody, they look at you like you're an idiot, and you're going, yeah, okay, what were you drinking? But, you know, yeah, well, I'm not. I don't drink. I'm, you know, a Pepsi guy. You know, the odd beer, but yeah. So you know, some stuff happens. You just leave it out because now you're pushing the fringe way beyond.
Have you seen the place recently, Richard?
I have not. No. Isn't there a culinary school in there now? Or
Oh
something?
fuck! They completely changed the place. So the original building is still intact, but the extension, the one where you've investigated,
Yeah, yeah.
the hotel, the quote unquote hotel rooms, that's gone.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
tore
the old
that
hotels
down.
moved.
Yeah, they tore that down, and they made, I don't know what the hell they made there, but it's not the same like it used to be.
Well, there's a huge, huge story there, and I'm never going to write about it because I don't. There's too many roadblocks, but it's a huge story. And I think when you think about MK Ultra, with the mind control experiments, that they say took place in the 50s, which they did. From what we gathered out of there was those experiments, all those experiments started at the Guild in 1947. And the U.S. called and said, what the hell are you doing? And transferred it all over to the U.S. But that's where it started. That's where it originated. And they were doing these experiments on Canadian troops right after the war. And if you look at the,
wasn't that in Montreal? Wasn't it somewhere in Montreal? Was it not?
Yes,
Yeah.
McGill University.
Yeah. I remember.
But it started at the Guild. And
Yeah.
the reason I said, there's a lot of things that we came across. One of the most interesting ones was they were decoding Nazi code at the Guild during that period, right, 1944, 45. And there was no security. You have all this code, you have all these people working on these codes, these top secret codes. You got people coming and going, deliveries, you got all kinds of people just everywhere. And then right after the war, the government said, we're going to use it as a rehab center for our troops coming back, as a hospital. All of a sudden, security was like beyond beefed up and pushed all the way to Morningside. Nobody allowed in or out. How do you explain that? Yeah, this guy, he's not feeling well. We're going to put armed guards around this property and beef it up. But we're doing code and, yeah, come on in, bring your stuff. But
Come have a burger or attack something on the barbecue.
Yeah. Well, there's all kinds of underground tunnels. The government actually went in and flooded all those tunnels.
Really?
Make sure you can't get into them. Yeah.
That's just right by the bluffs too.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's that time. I've got the links in the description, but Richard, we'll start with you. Where do people find you?
Nowhere to be found. I'm off grid. No, no, you can get me on. I'm at.
You mean we locked that and plucked you off?
That's why you couldn't talk to me at the beginning.
Yeah,
of the show.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm on Facebook, or you can email me at richard@thesearchergroup.ca, or you can go check out my website, thesearchergroup.ca.
Yep.
And
have it the link there. Kristen?
Yeah, you can find me on all socials, including YouTube at ParaNorm Girl Pod, or shoot me an email, paranormgirlpod@gmail.com.
Awesome. And thus concludes our 15th season. Not to forget to mention, this October 21st, we're going to have our very first nocturnal gathering. Richard?
Okay. Well, let me know where.
Oh, we'll let you know. Don't
Gas
worry.
expensive, man. If I start driving
And
around now,
and everyone else, you're all invited, of course, to come out to it. So we'll put out the full information very soon on where and what time, but the date is cemented on the 21st of October. So yeah, I want to thank you two for coming on such short notice, and it's always a pleasure having you both on.
well,
Yeah,
congratulations
this
on
is
the
awesome.
congratulations on the end of your 15th season.
I know, 15, crazy.
Yeah, congrats though. That's huge.
Yeah.
I didn't have gray hair when we first started.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you had hair.
Well,
That's
no,
true, too.
I don't even think. Did you? You didn't even have hair either, did you?
No.
No, he didn't. I'm just kidding.
No. I mean,
Do you remember that first discussion on Scott's front porch?
Oh fuck! It's so long ago, man.
You said, "Hey, what's the secret of life after death?"
Yeah.
What did my brother ask you? He said, we can tell you if you tell us where the Ark of the Covenant is.
Oh right. Fuck. You know what? I miss your brother, man. I haven't talked to him in such a long time, man.
Yeah. He'd like to hear from you, man. He's still down there.
I don't have his contact info.
Oh, he's Amish. There's no way to contact him.
Oh, there you go.
He's not really Amish, but
he's not really.
He's not on any social.
He is, but he isn't.
Yeah.
So send him my regards when you talk to him, because I don't have any of his contact info. So
yeah, okay, all right, I will.
Awesome.
All right, guys, have a good evening. Always a blast, and look forward to. I'm sure we'll, have you guys on in the 16th season for something. I'm sure of it.
Oh, yeah.
So take care.
Thanks for having me. Nice to see everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
You too, and everybody in chat who stopped in, and the YouTube chat. Thank you for all the support over the years, and this year. Well, this year has been, like I said, a train wreck, but we made it.
Yeah, we made it.
We made it. Hopefully next year things will be a lot more solid. Well, next season anyway. So, but anyways, take care, everyone. Have a good evening, and all the best throughout the summer. And we'll see you in September.
All right. Night, guys.
Everyone, have a good night.
Bye.
You guys.